If you started using Etoro and finally managed to choose your popular investor that you decided to copy, and the main reason of why you chose this particular investor is his statistics and his returns, then you may get very disappointed and annoyed when your returns, since you started copying this person, don't coincide with the popular investor's stats. It does happen that the statistics of the popular investor and the people who copy him get desynchronized. And in this video, I'm going to tell you about the main reasons of why this might happen. If desynchronized statistics is something that you experienced and it annoyed you, then watch this video because I hope it will help you to find the explanation of why it may possibly happen. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Anastasia. On this channel I talk about investing and especially investing for beginners. This video is going to be about Etoro. As you know, if you've been following my channel for some time or if you're new, Etoro is my favorite platform for beginner investors because of its feature that is called copy trading. Copy trading allows you to copy automatically the trades of more professional investors. You have a choice of these investors, so you can choose whoever you want and you can base your decision off many criteria. Let's say you chose the investor that you really like and you based your decision on the stats, then most probably and most likely after you start copying him with your real money, you will be comparing the stats all the time, and it might happen that you will see that your stats are different from the stats of the popular investor who you copy. And most of the time, if your returns are lower than the returns of the popular investor, then you will get disappointed. So if you recognize yourself, then this video is for you because we are going to cover the main reasons and, to my knowledge, all the possible reasons of why this might happen. If you can think of any more reasons, then you can leave your thoughts as always in the comment section below this video. I will be very grateful if you decide to do that. So first of all, let's look at the formula that Etoro uses to calculate the monthly return. You can find this information on the Etoro official website. It's pretty straightforward and the formula itself is logical and simple, where E1 is the equity at the end of the month, W is the total withdrawals made within the month, E0 is the equity at the beginning of the month, and D is the total deposit made within that month. So from this formula, you can probably already understand that the reason number one of why your stats may be different from the stats of the popular investor is if either of you during that given month whether withdraw or deposit more funds into their portfolio. Say if you've withdrawn some money that particular month, but the popular investor who you copy didn't, obviously the value of the W will be completely different for both of you. And therefore, even though the actual return was the same, but because you withdrawn some money, your result at the end of the month will be different. The second possible reason is if you started following someone without copying his open trades. When you start copying someone, you are always given an option to start copying with open trades or without open trades. If you click the option to start copying someone with open trades, that means that all the open positions that this popular investor has at the moment when you start copying this person will automatically get opened for you. And if you start copying someone with open trades, this means that the person who you copy possibly opened these positions several weeks or several months ago at a completely different price. But the reason of why the popular investor didn't close these positions is because he thinks that there is more potential to these positions. So if you trust the popular investor who you copy, and you should trust the popular investor because you invest your real money into this person and you allow this person to take the control over your funds, then you probably should also trust this person that this person knows better when to close this position positions. And that's why it's recommended to start copying someone with open trades. But if for some reason you decided to not copy this person with open trades, then this might be a potential reason of why your stats will be different, because you will have to wait for the popular investor to close all the positions that were opened at the moment when you started copying him and open new positions that will also get opened for you, and only in that case the stats for both of you will get synchronized. The next possible reason is, again, very logical and very simple, but I think some people still miss it. And it is the fact that the stats are calculated on Etoro according to calendar months. So from the first day of the month to the very last day of the month. And obviously, if you started copying someone not on the first day of the month, then you will miss the returns that the popular investor made within that first part of the month when you still didn't copy him. And this might be another reason of why your stats got desynchronized. Okay, the next reasons are not so obvious. So the next reason is possibly in the territory where you are registered on Etoro, some assets are not available. And so in that situation, if you copy someone who invests into these assets, those positions will not get opened for you. For example, until recently, those clients who got registered from the territory of Netherlands couldn't trade cryptocurrencies on Etoro. Recently, it became possible because Etoro got some license that allows them to provide this service to the clients from these territories. But until that happened, if someone copied a popular investor who would trade cryptocurrencies, these positions wouldn't get opened for this person, and therefore their stats would get desynchronized. This is something that you might not even be aware of, but it happens, and you have to check for your own country whether all assets would be available for you or not. I gave you just one example, but honestly I am not sure if that's the case for all the world and all the countries where Etoro is available or not. The other thing is, depending on when you are watching this video, the situation may change because it is changing all the time. So do your own research and try to find out whether all the positions get opened for you or not. The next possible reason is the minimum amount that you copy a certain popular investor with. Even though the minimum amount that you can start copy someone with is $500, and again, it is changing all the time. When I started investing through Etoro, it was $200, but some popular investors, they tell you the minimum amount that you can start copying them with. And for some investors, this sum is higher than the minimum amount that is set by Etoro. For example, some popular investors say that the minimum amount you can start copying them with is $1,000, and they do it for a reason, because if you copy them with less than the minimum amount that the popular investor, not Etoro, but popular investor, tells you to copy them with, some positions will not get opened for you. And the reason to that is because, according to Etoro, the minimum size of the open position should be $1. And remember that when you copy someone, it's all calculated in proportion. So say if the popular investor opens a position with 1% of their equity, and therefore you will have to open the position of 1% of your equity. So if 1% of your equity, whatever you invested into this popular investor, is less than $1, then obviously this position will not get opened for you, and you potentially will get the desynchronized stats at the end of the month. Right, the next reason is spread fees. When you originally start copying someone, you automatically pay the spread fees on all the positions that this popular investor has opened. That's obviously if you started copying someone with open trades. And if the popular investor has lots of positions opened, you will have to pay the spread fee on every single position. And this is the reason of why it is not recommended to start and stop copying someone too often, because every time you do it, you will have to pay a spread fee, which doesn't make any sense. And this is exactly the reason of why when you start copying someone, for the first several days, you most probably see the red numbers, so you will be at a loss, and this will be due to the spread fees that you've paid recently. And so of course, if you paid a lot of spread fees, then most probably your stats at the end of the month will get desynchronized because the popular investor didn't have to pay these spread fees in this particular month if he opened these positions in the previous months. The next possible reason is, again, in my opinion, is a bit more obvious. If you do any manipulations with the open positions that you have with the popular investor, for example, if you close them manually, if you, for example, think that the certain company is not going to grow and doesn't have any potential, then you might close just certain positions without stopping to copy someone completely. And if you do that, then remember that you did it at the end of the month, because this might be another reason of why your stats get desynchronized. And the last reason, this one I think is the most obvious, is if you compare your stats to the stats of the popular investor, you have to remember that you must copy only this popular investor and nobody else. You shouldn't copy anyone else. You shouldn't open any individual trade that you decided to open yourself, not through copy trading. Because every single action that you take with the funds that you have invested into Etoro will influence your stats, and obviously they will get desynchronized. And the last reason of why your stats might get desynchronized is if you started copying someone during a spike in the portfolio or the dip. Obviously, if you started copying someone during the dip, then most probably at the end of the month, your stats will get better than the stats of the popular investor. People get more annoyed when their stats are not as good as the stats of the popular investor. And this might happen if you started copying someone during the spike in their portfolio. So given the conclusion of this whole video, I think it's very important to understand when you start copying someone, you have to use the stats of this popular investor as an indicator, but not the only reason of why you decided to copy someone. And if you still decided to copy someone, then don't start comparing your stats every single month starting from the first month after you started copying them. Wait a little bit longer, because as the time goes, there is a very high chance, in fact it will eventually happen for sure, your stats will get synchronized. Before I recorded this video, I made my research, as I always do. I spoke with Etoro employees, I searched on Google, and I'm very thankful to everyone who contributed towards this video, giving me the information and the ideas for the possible reasons. But the special thank you I want to give to JayNemesis, because I asked this question under his post and he was very kind to answer this question. I've mentioned and gave a small explanation to all the reasons that he responded to me with, and I would like to read out to you the little part of his comment. Over time, as long as they have the minimum funds required to copy all trades, the portfolio should resynchronize slowly. This is also why I and many other popular investors make a conscious effort to gradually refresh old positions. It helps resynchronize everyone to that position, although sadly it does mean paying the spread fee again. So now my question to you is, and please let me know in the comments, would you rather the popular investor care about the stats and the synchronization between his stats and the stats of his copyists and close old positions from time to time in order to get faster to this synchronization and make us all pay the spread fee again? Or would you rather not care about the stats at all, save the money on spread fees, and wait longer until your stats get synchronized naturally? Let me know in the comments what you think. I think my answer is pretty obvious. If you want to register on Etoro, please use the affiliated link in the description box that I'm going to leave under this video. And I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and I hope to see you soon in my next videos. Bye bye.